Well, good evening, everybody. We're back to our Facebook Live series of 21 days together, discussing and appreciating our ability to breathe, something we've all forgotten to do, at least 9 out of 10 of us. We've all forgotten how to breathe. And I'm really, really happy that we're doing this together and that you will be sharing this information with your loved ones, with your friends, your colleagues. I hope you'll be shouting it out to all four corners of the earth. Just imagine if we all started breathing properly, just simply taking the time to breathe. And today, our 9th day, I can't believe 9 days have already gone by, we'll be discussing how to tune in with your body, becoming more aware of it. So we're just going to wait for a few people to see if they're going to come online with us. I have noticed a large following watching the YouTube videos afterwards. So I'm glad you find the time to catch up. And that's why I'm making these videos short and sweet. 20, 30 minutes tops, guys, because you have things to do, but it's imperative that you actually hear it. And I always take a deep breath and hope that I can deliver this information in a way that it can bring it home. And the reason why, apart from, getting into a habit, but the reason why I really wanted to do 21 days is because even if you have a conversation with one person, to give them the whole outlook from a higher perspective of how everything interconnects and how important it is. You've got to, you can't just go up to someone and say, oh, you're all energy. I remember when I started meditating, and there was a lot of spiritual teachers always, emphasizing the fact we are energy. We are energy. And there's a part of me that my heart, really sort of felt that. But how is it so that we're energy? How did we explain to me, how is it so that we're energy? Was it just something on faith that I'm supposed to, all right, I can do that. But when you really know how you're creating energy by simply breathing, and the whole process of these beautiful creative words that we've defined and described our organs, it really brings it home, doesn't it? And that's why even today I've put some nice little fancy diagrams on the notes. Be sure to download the notes in the Kusala Consulting group. So let's see some, hi else, someone else is going to be joining. I'm very precise at 7 o'clock, but let's start today. So today I want to talk about giving you an exercise on how to really tune in and becoming aware, consciously aware of your body. Now, the word awareness and consciousness has been thrown around quite often. But to be consciously aware doesn't mean anything. I don't want you to try and figure this out with your mind. Consciously aware of your body. So now if I say to you, for example, okay, become aware of your right hand. All right. So there's no doing involved, is it? You're becoming aware of your right hand in the sense that your attention, there was something inside of you, okay, which is you, consciousness, becomes aware of something. It goes from a broader perspective and it narrows itself right there, all right? So this exercise that we'll be doing today is basically you taking a tour with your consciousness inside of your body and just basically tracking down that breath as it goes in and as it comes out. But before we get started, I just want to bring you up to date, up to speed. So if you've all noticed that as we get to know more and more of how our body functions, okay, nothing stays the same. Have you noticed? Okay, everything is constantly changing. Everything is constantly being inhaled, exhaled, comes in, goes out, comes in, goes out. Constantly creating, changing, shifting, flowing. Have you noticed? Nothing is meant to stay the same, okay? that which is not converted into energy becomes harmful. Have you noticed that? Everything that comes in as you're taking in air is being contributed to something, creating energy, getting rid of carbon dioxide, processing food, processing liquids, the blood pumping up and down, the heart, all your vital organs are doing something. And it's all thanks to that energy, all thanks to that oxygen. Without that oxygen, what happens? Everything just starts to slow down. Okay. So if it's not flowing, it's either being converted into a toxin or a waste or fat. So my point is that you're constantly supposed to be changing. That is the only thing that needs to be really brought home today. It needs to resonate somewhere in your heart. Nothing stays the same, not even you. Your body is designed to constantly change. Okay, that's why there's a renewal, rejuvenation of the cells constantly happening. New oxygen always in, out, in, out, in, out, flow, rhythm, creation, expansion, in, out, flow, in, constantly, 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 always, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, all the time. All right. So it's best you get used to change because your body is thriving on it. And when you don't, when there is a fixture here, there is a definition that my life needs to be the same all the time because then I feel more secure, I feel safer, I feel more confident when I know what's about to happen. Okay, you're hanging on to definitions and concepts and descriptions of how your life's meant to be. And this is how energy doesn't move. But before we get there, I just really want you to understand how this connects to your rhythm of oxygen. When you want everything to stay the same, you're not inviting anything new in. So even though your body is trying so hard to create new cells, to create new atoms, create new energy, and then you repeat the same things over and over again, okay? Especially, I'm not talking about action-wise, but thought-wise. You keep stressing yourself out, therefore not allowing any surprises or excitement and new experiences to come within you, okay? Just so you remember that sympathetic nervous system of yours, okay, it activates every time there's a lack of oxygen, which means if your thoughts are always the same, okay, it activates. The sympathetic nervous system is supposed to activate only in a state of emergency. And if you're not breathing correctly, it thinks you're in a state of emergency all the time, okay? So stress will always make your body stop breathing correctly. So therefore, we need to take a step back and become more consciously aware of how our body is reacting instead of always being upstairs in the mind. The less time you spend in the mind, the more time you spend connected to the body, connected to the heart. So you actually become aware of the breath. Am I breathing? I've caught myself several times this week holding my breath, sucking it in. Okay, why? Relax. I was sucking it in because I was thinking, all right? So what I've noticed by this practice is that I've become aware. What if I hadn't become aware of that? I would have been sucking in. So the beauty of becoming aware that I was sucking in for me was a celebration, okay? It hadn't happened before, not as often as it's happening now, okay? So this connection with the body, you can sort of keep an eye on what's it doing. And now I'm spending less time in my thoughts. And therefore, they're not stressing me out. And therefore, the sympathetic nervous system is not activating. You're feeling quite calm, actually pretty joyful, maybe even a bit excited. Okay, why? Because you haven't blocked the flow of oxygen and you haven't activated that sympathetic nervous system. Simple, isn't it? Great. Let me just see if anyone's there. Hello. Okay, thank you for joining. All right, I'm going to start today, even though we don't have too many people live at the moment, but I can't see all of you. Anyway, let me just carry on. So you must become aware of your body. You must constantly allow oxygen to flow through you. This is important. It is not you controlling the thought, it is allowing oxygen to flow through you. So try and have a different perspective about who you think you are. This body, you, consciousness, awareness, allowing oxygen to flow through you. How? By consciously deep breathing. You're the allower, okay? The real purpose of breathing is not to move air, but to move energy. Okay, that's the whole point of breathing. Not to just shove air here and there so everything works. No, you're there to move the energy. That's why a lot of people, when they get, I don't know, prizes or something, and they've done something heroic, and they always say, there was something that moved through me. It wasn't me. Have you ever heard that? You know, so it moves through me. I felt like a vessel. That's the feeling that you can constantly have all the time. Just allowing energy to move through you. Just step back from that definition of who you think you are and the descriptions conceptualizing, describing. No. Just become a vessel of energy for now, okay? So remember, oxygen through a process called oxidation chemically changes food and liquid into energy. So you've got to remember that's how there's an actual process with a name, we've given it, that creates energy. So it's not a topic out of the blue, some spirituality, blah, 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 that said you are energy and we must say, no, you can actually see how the energy is being created, okay? So the Chinese, for example, call it qi. I don't know if you've ever heard that expression. They believe it's what we call they've translated in English, it's called the vital life force. That's how it's been translated. Vital life force, of course it is. Qi, that energy, all right? And they believe that all disease is caused by a block of qi. Now, after everything we've spoken about in this past week, wouldn't you agree the same? If there's a blockage of oxygen, it is the cause of all disease. Can you see how that is so? Or is that just a statement I've thrown out there? Just think back of how a lack of oxygen in your body through the whole processes that we've gone through, if there's no oxygen, things start to shut down. Stress hormones, no blood, no energy. What's happening? No oxygen. Okay? You can see how that's possible. All right? So the breath is the chief cleansing tool. Okay, it eliminates 70% of the body's waste. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's really important for you to just remember this. I don't want you to have to go back and read everything. That's why I try and keep it. This is like the center stone of this whole, if you want to call it argument, to bring the point across, is that the oxygen, okay, is the chief cleansing tool. If you're not breathing, nothing's being cleaned. Okay, and it takes away 70% of the waste. What's the other 30%? Water. Okay, so if you're drinking water and not breathing, it's going to take a long time. But if you're drinking water and breathing, so Marie's got me in a really good habit. Every morning or every night before we go to sleep, she leaves a big glass of water by my bedside. All right, and as I wake up in the morning, I see it right there. It's already there. I don't have to get up or anything. It's already there. And I drink it all, and then I do my breathing exercises. Can you believe it is the cleansing just gets on better and better and better. In fact, I did read something, or I shared a video that the exact same things we've been talking about, the breath. There's this video that's saying that if you drink a glass of water on an empty stomach every day for 30 days, you will lose weight. And guess what their reasons were? Exactly what we've been talking about, the breath. But it's amazing how they didn't, include breathing and drinking water. If you're not breathing correctly, you drink water, it's not going to happen for you. It's going to be staggering. Remember what water is? 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. And that hydrogen that keeps going around in your body, if it's not being cleaned out, it actually converts itself into toxins and fat. Okay, we remember that? So the Indians, on the other hand, called this oxygen prana, which they refer to as the energy. So it goes way back, and it's amazing how we've either forgotten about it or we don't believe in it, and we can just carry on with our lives without giving it the importance it actually deserves. And this is what I'd like to do with these 21 days, giving back the importance of breathing, not only to athletes. I mean, I've gone through quite a lot of videos and all these incredible human beings that have been climbing up mountains and breaking records and ice skating and drama classes and singers. Okay. Not all of us are that activated and motivated to actually have these incredibly high goals. What about the rest of us? All right. How are we supposed to, incorporate this information? Obviously, when someone's talking about breathing and climbing up Mount Everest, we find ourselves so far away from that prospect that we say, okay, he's doing that, I don't need to do what he's doing. He's breathing, I don't need to do, I'm not climbing Mount Everest. And what I'd like to bring to everyday's routine is insert breathing, not because you have to climb Mount Everest, is because you want to live a more energetic, healthy, fulfilling life, don't you? We all do, okay? So the Chinese call it qi and the Indians call it prana. In fact, there's also a practice in China. What's it called? The qi zhong is a practice of breathing that I've actually felt inspired to start moving my body while I'm breathing in and out. So I might look into that. So energy is not something you can see, but if you keep deep breathing, you will become aware of it. You will become aware of it. You're not aware of it because you're not feeling the results, the consequences of it, because we've been feeling lethargic. We've been feeling a bit stressed out. We've been in our minds for so long, for decades. You've not become aware of what energy feels like. Spontaneous action. All of a sudden, I feel like dancing. I feel like moving. I've got a skip in my step, and all of a sudden I've got this spontaneous action or spontaneous idea, a synchronicity of events take place. It's energy moving. And not only is your body made of energy, the person next to you is made of energy. Everything outside you. So before I get ahead of myself, just to give you a broader perspective of how it is so that we're all one. Everyone is energy expanding in and out. So if I'm energy, you're energy, everyone is energy. We are, in fact, all one. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's go one step at a time. Okay. Once you become aware of it, you will be able to direct it, steer it willingly. At the moment, it's probably unfocused, and I don't blame you. Okay, when you're producing so much energy, you do start to wonder, what am I going to do with it? A lot of children with all that energy, they're first on one thing and then they're on another thing. And becoming adults, because we haven't been dreaming, we haven't been breathing properly. Okay, our lack of energy goes down, and therefore we're not dreaming, imagining, visualizing as much as children do. Okay, so we don't know where to place even that small amount of energy that we've got going on there. And even that small amount of energy is dedicated as much as possible to eliminating toxins, because that's the first thing it does. The breath, the first thing it does, tries to eliminate the waste, and then it goes on to processing food in order to have more energy. So the less you breathe, the less you breathe. All right. So we have this incredible life force available inside of us in every single moment, and we're unaware of it. Not only are we unaware of it, we don't even know what to do with it. And today I'd like you to do this exercise so you become more aware of your body. So then tomorrow we can actually start discussing how it is so that you can start to focus, direct, and steer this energy, and how it is so that you are creating also that which is inside on the outside. All right? So you must understand that your body is energy. We have always thought it to be static matter, but now even the physics have now proven it to themselves that we were matter, but actually we're made up of energy. And I'm glad that science is catching up eventually with the spiritual concepts that have been available for so long. However, we're not going to get into such much of physics, even though there is one documentary that really blew me away about 8-9 years ago. I don't know if you're interested in watching documentaries on physics, but it's got a nice little title. It's called What the Bleep Do You Know, with Joe Dispenza. He was one of my favorites. It's about a 2-hour documentary. If you are interested in physics, quantum physics, no, nobody? All right. Anyway, if you are interested, send me a message. I'll send you a link. It's free on YouTube. So I might even put the link at the bottom of this video. Okay. Our bodies are rivers of energy constantly flowing and constantly changing. This is imperative that you can actually visualize it. Just close your eyes for a minute and just imagine this energy that is constantly flowing, constantly changing. Okay? It is never the same. All right? Never the same. In fact, in 5 days, okay, every single atom in your stomach will be brand new. In 5 days, every atom in your stomach will be brand new. In 6 weeks, a month and a half, okay? 6 weeks, every single atom in your DNA, the whole structure of your DNA will be brand new, okay? And if that hasn't blown you away, in 4 years, every single molecule of your body will be brand new. So why is it, if every 4 years we have a brand new body, why are we aging? Why are we declining? You know the answer to that. Because we've been depriving it of the energy that otherwise would have been able to keep it maintained. All right? Every 4 years, you have the ability of having brand new cells. If your stomach alone can be brand new in 5 days, can you imagine every other organ? Just by giving it that oxygen, that energy that it requires. And these are facts. I mean, I've not just sucked them out of my thumb. These are all facts that are known out there. There's information, there are studies, and it is a known fact. It's just that it's not widely distributed, isn't it? When these amazing, relieving kind of information comes just saying to you, just giving you this information, why are we not embracing it with such relief? Thank goodness. No, we've got this old paradigm of we are made out of bones and muscles and blood vessels, and then there's a process of aging, and how you're aging and declining just depends on luck. There's more to it here, all right? So even though you're at your worst, if you start breathing properly for the next 4 years, you have a brand new body in 4 years. Exactly. I'm not kidding you. Take this breathing to heart and appreciate it. Okay? So let's become familiar with the body. All right? So I've put in the 2 diagrams in these notes that I'm going to put up for you. The diagram's just there so you can have a visual. But let's try and create a visual now. All right? So from what we already know, you can do this lying down. It's preferably with you lying down. Close your eyes and just become familiar. Okay? Start from your collarbone here. And just with your fingertips, touch your collarbone. Okay? Till you get to your stern. Okay? They all have fancy names, but just follow this down. All right? All the way down your stern, there's something called what is it called? Xiphoid. It's a xiphoid process. The actual name is called xiphoid process. It ends here. It's like a sort of, it becomes like a bone in your adult years. It it was a cartilage when you were younger, but it just ends here, and that's when your muscles and your abs get connected to. So just make yourself familiar with it, and then from here, your ribs, start to feel where all your ribs go all the way down. Become familiar with them, like touch. There's your whole rib cage all the way here. I've put it in the diagram so you can see, but why I want you to really touch it with your fingertips, just to have a tour. So then when you close your eyes and you put your hands on your side, and as you're taking a deep breath, you can actually take a tour with your consciousness, okay? It's important that you connect with your body and you can actually see how the breath is going in and how the diaphragm is squeezing in, and then your rib cage gets enlarged, your lungs going down to the bottom lobes of your lungs. And so you can actually just follow it and just taking a few deep breaths and just notice on what is expanding, what is going down, your belly, your muscles, your diaphragm, how your lungs expand, how much more your lungs can take in compared to last week. And then notice maybe next week how much more air they can take. And just notice a rhythm. Try and get into a rhythm. The important thing about knowing this is that, so when you're breathing, your mind doesn't try to wander. I'd like you to just connect in with your body. Every time you do the 10 breaths in the morning, 10 breaths after lunch, 10 breaths in the evening, and those other kind of exercises here and there during the day, that you have this visual that consciously you can see how the breath is going in. You can sense and notice how your ribs, diaphragm, muscles are in and out. And so you're focused within, not outside. You're not bothered about who's watching you or who can be noticing you or what. No, there's a complete focused attention within. And that's important. Maybe I should have told you this right at the beginning, because it serves you to keep focused. And that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, how to use your energy and your focus on what you want to experience. And mastering your breath is something that's essential for your experience. So do some poking around now. Start from your collarbone, all right? And then just make your way down, and you can feel, and then sense your rib cage. And your lungs are underneath your rib cage. That's how important they are. They're being protected by this incredible cage-like bone structure that is magnificently being created just for you. Okay, that is how important your breath is. And remember, your breath needs to go all the way down to your lower lobes. All right, it's in the diagram, so read them through. And I've also put the exercise, getting to know your body, and the instructions on how to do that. All right, so tune into your body, really get accustomed to it. And remember, you cannot take a day off from breathing. Whatever you're indulging yourself with, okay, don't worry. Have the experience of eating and dancing, staying up late and drinking whatever you want. That's fine. But then just make sure that you keep on cleansing yourself through your breath. That is the only cleansing process that you have available that is efficient enough to do the job. There is nothing else out there. And, take Marie's, suggestion. Leave a glass of water by your bedside. Drink it on an empty stomach every morning. Just get into the habit of that. And then lay back down and do your 10 breaths. That's a double whammy you got right there. Complete cleansing process. Drink some water and then breathe. Remember, if you're going to be drinking water, let a breath or two come immediately after it. There's no point in drinking water every single day if you're not breathing correctly. You need to drink that water and breathe. So then the cleansing process can be efficient enough to complete it all the way through. All right? Okay, guys. Sorry for keeping you so long. I shall see you tomorrow. Tune in that tomorrow we're going to talk about how to direct, steer that energy that you've got inside. At the moment, it's just resting there unfocused. It doesn't know what to do. All right. So tomorrow we're going to embrace that power, that magnificence that's inside of you. All right, guys. See ya.